Jags got a big one coming up on Sunday. We bring in Clay Harbor, former Jaguars tight end, former Eagles tight end, former Patriots tight end, and Chicago Bears flag-waving apologist.
You got to be an apologist these days, huh?
Why am I an apologist there?
I don't know. I like to call somebody else. I like Sunshine and Rainbows of Chicago. It's like you're part of our club.
Okay, appreciate that, Brent.
Take it.
You're the Chicago branch.
Yeah.
What's happening, man? How about these Jaguars? They got a chance.
Yeah, it's a big game Sunday, man. They're 4-point underdogs. They're going against a really good team, a really good defense. DeMarcus Lawrence, Micah Parsons are two of the best in the game, and obviously Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott are going to, bring some problems there. But, hey, this team almost lost to the Houston Texans, who are the worst team in the league. There's no doubt about that. So I think anybody can beat them if you come to play. And obviously I'm saying that, and the Jaguars have lost to the Houston Texans.
They did lose to the Texans.
Maybe the Texans are better than we thought.
My argument is definitely not standing up in the court.
But no, Clay, you make a good point. It's all the parity in the league. Like, everyone could beat everybody. Like, me and Brent going back and forth earlier in the show about, well, Brent's like, well, they can do it. And I'm like, yeah, but it's really tough. And the reality is, yeah, they can do it. They just need a bunch of things to go right that day.
I still think Trevor Lawrence will be the better quarterback on the field. I'm going to go and say that. He's going to be the best quarterback on the field come Sunday. Say what you will. I like him more than I like Dak Prescott. This guy has 20 TDs, 6 interceptions, 95 ratings, and playing just lights out these last 4, 5, 6 games. I think they can do it.
Am I the only person in this room who thinks Dak Prescott is slightly overrated? Just slightly. He's not a bad quarterback.
No.
He's not even a middle quarterback, but he's not like a upper tier or like a lower A-plus echelon tier.
I agree. I've never really understood that whole Dak Prescott thing, calling him one of the best quarterbacks in the league when he really hasn't won much. He's had a couple years of really big numbers, but they didn't really do much with it. So,
and by the way, always had great tools. Always had great tools.
He has had a lot around him. But, guys, I mean, I have been more on the Dak train. I don't know if he's the elite of the elite, if he's Mahomes and Allen and what Brady was and what Rodgers has been, all those guys. But, sheesh, I mean, isn't it right in front of us this year? Since he's come back, they were averaging going into last week's game like 38 points a game. I mean, he elevated them. There were some people, remember, that said, Cooper Rush, you should keep the job. They're winning. No, he shouldn't have. I mean, they are going to 38 points a game with Dak Prescott, which I think makes them, to be honest with you, the most dangerous team in the NFL. I know the Philadelphia Eagles are right there. We've had the conversation earlier this week about that. I think Kansas City's always dangerous, but they're the complementary nature of the offense and defense of Dallas and the dynamic nature of what they can do on both sides of the ball, Clay, I think they are just extremely dangerous.
Very dangerous team, but, I mean, look at him so far this year. He's got 14 touchdowns, 9 interceptions with a 92 rating. To me, that screams, hey, I'm average. Last week against the Houston Texans, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, a 70 rating, barely win the game. He's barely getting it done. I know people say, look at some of the numbers he's had in the past. Like last year, 37 touchdowns, 10 picks, 4,500 yards, 105 rating. That's elite. But he's still, what do you do in the playoffs?
Yeah, that's been a problem.
A whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, that's been a problem. And that's been a problem with every Dallas quarterback player, Jerry Jones, coach, any of them for the last 2 decades. Really, the Jags have more playoff wins than the Dallas Cowboys since they went on that Super Bowl run.
That's crazy. And by the way, it wasn't just last game where he was playing loose with the ball. The last 3 games, he's got 5 turnovers.
That's a good sign.
And he's pacing for his highest interception number of his career, if not to match his highest interception number of his career. So again, I don't think he's average. I think he's above average. But that being said, like, he's got this giant contract. He's all annually anointed into the upper echelon of quarterbacks. And you want to give him a top 10, I'm with you. You want to give him a top 5 or even a top 7, and I don't know.
Well, his salary indicates that, right? Because he's got the $40 million. But okay, I'll give you this one, guys: Derek Carr or Dak Prescott?
That's a good question. I kind of feel like they're similar. I'd go with Derek Carr on any given day.
Really? How about you, Clay?
That's a tough one. I might go with Dak. I mean, neither of them have done much, but as far as playoffs and that sort of thing. But I'd probably go with Dak over Derek Carr. But I'd say top 10, maybe 9, 10, but above that, no.
Well, here's the deal. The point of your statement about Trevor could be the best player on the field on Sunday from a quarterback position standpoint is really more about Trevor and probably less about Dak.
Yeah.
And Trevor is playing that good of football. And I know the whole world now has their attention on Trevor. And you look at the stats over the last month since Halloween, and they look really good. But again, like this started a few weeks ago against Baltimore. That fourth quarter has boosted him into a different stratosphere. And he was neutralized against the Lions because everything went wrong. It's not like he played bad. But then he had the whole thing going for a good 3 quarters on Sunday, Clay. I mean, how good was he on Sunday in your opinion?
Man, he just looked the part. And, I've always said, as a philosopher of football, good things happen when you throw the ball to the tight end. As a tight end myself.
Slight conflict of interest.
They started throwing the ball to the tight end, and Evan Engram had a huge game, and Trevor just looked great. I mean, the numbers obviously spoke for themselves. 3 TDs, no interceptions, 120 rating, 30 completions. The guy's the real deal, and they did all that with absolutely no running game. They just couldn't get anything started, and Trevor was able to carry him. And to me, that's very impressive. When you don't have that balance and they know you're going to throw, and that's the only way you're moving the ball, and then you spread it around to a bunch of different guys, and you get the ball to a guy like Evan Engram, who hasn't been your main target when things open up, it shows me that he's maturing and he's not just forcing the ball to one person. And that's the difference between a good quarterback and a great quarterback.
And, talking about throwing the ball at the tight end, last year Dalton Schultz essentially made his career with the Cowboys, having his best year ever with 808 yards on 78 receptions. That has not been the case for Schultz this year. As a matter of fact, the last game was his first real big game of the season, to be honest with you, at 87 yards and 6 catches. But the touchdowns are not there this year for Dalton Schultz in the way that they were last year. He has kind of been neutralized as a weapon on this team, and it hasn't been by defenses, really. It's just it just hasn't worked out where he's getting the ball. You got to wonder why that is.
I think he's a free agent too, isn't he? Isn't he in his contract year? So that's a tough year for him to go down. So would you guys rather have Schultz or our guy or Travis or not Travis Etienne? Evan Engram?
I think we kind of talked a little bit about this yesterday in the contract conversation, but I'd rather stay with Evan Engram than go to Dalton Schultz. Despite Schultz's age at 26, Ingram's only 28. And he seems to be capable of a lot more.
And the reason I guess we kind of fell on the Evan Engram side of this, Clay, and as a tight end, I'd like to get your thought, but he's so unique. He's just a different body, and he gives you a little something different. And if you have something unique and productive, rather than, I'm not saying Schultz is a cookie-cutter tight end, but I think there are other guys like him, and you can find that. I'm not sure you find too many guys like Evan Engram in just the way you can utilize him.
Absolutely. He definitely brings something different to the table. So I'm on team Evan Engram too. He's not a great blocker, but in the game Sunday, I'm watching back some of the tape and I'm like, he had a couple good blocks that sprang people. So Evan Engram to me is, like you said, he's unique. He's a guy that can run downfield. If you get him matched up on a linebacker, you can see what he can do. And obviously he hasn't lived up to that first round draft, but he had a hell of a game this Sunday, and then you got to see how he finishes the year. I'd be completely fine with Evan Engram coming back to the Jaguars, especially with the fact that you got Calvin Ridley coming to the outside. That's going to open up a lot of things in the middle of the field, and you might see Evan Engram have a career year with a guy like Calvin Ridley on the outside.
That was actually part of Brent's pitch to Evan to re-sign him.
I did.
Oh, wow.
I tried the negotiations, started them yesterday.
You really did.
I think we're off to a good start.
That sounded like it.
That's the good news here. Spending other people's money, that's an easy thing to do. Clay Harbor with us, former Jags tight end, each and every Wednesday here on Brent Friends on ESPN 690. You mentioned something a bit ago. Trevor Lawrence did it without a running game. I think they need the running game this week. It's not because of Trevor. It's because they have to keep that offense off the field. They have to keep an opportunistic and hungry and blood in the water kind of defense at bay.
Yeah.
And this team you can run against now. They're giving up like 4.7 yards per carry. They give up 140 yards a game. That's 23rd, I think, in the NFL right now. They have to be able to run the ball, I think, on Sunday, Clay.
No, absolutely, especially when you're going up against one of the best running backs in the league, in my opinion. And am I talking about Ezekiel Elliott? No, I'm not. I'm talking about Tony Pollard.
TP.
I think this guy has become one of the best running backs in the entire league. He's averaging 6-7 yards, 6 yards a carry. The guy's like 5th in the league in rushing yards, and he just keeps getting it done. He's played against the Bears. I watched that game. playing against the Eagles. He is very explosive. He's elusive, and he is a big play threat every time he touches the ball. Ezekiel Elliott, to me, has turned into a, kind of like a guy that's the short yardage back. Here, Ezekiel Elliott's averaging 4.2 yards a carry. Okay, not bad. Tony Pollard averaging 5.7 yards a carry on the same offensive line. Tony Pollard has become the best running back, in my opinion, and he's the best weapon on that Cowboys offense. I love CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup. You can stop those guys. We already talked about Dalton Schultz, very stoppable, hasn't had a big year. Dak Prescott, decent quarterback, nothing great in my opinion. But the guy that scares me, I've seen him play several times this year, Tony Pollard. Hard to stop. Can't let him get going.
See, for me, the guy that scares me against the Jaguars, at least, is CeeDee Lamb. Because if Tony Pollard has a day, but you keep that air attack muted or low, you can at least slow the game down, stay in the running with them, throw on them fine. But if CeeDee Lamb gets going against this Jaguars pass defense, which has been soft throughout the season, certainly played well last week, I don't know, man. It's going to be a tough day for the Jaguars.
Yeah, I agree. CeeDee Lamb has had a good year, and he's a guy who's just got that elusive speed. He's got great speed. He's almost at 1,000 yards already with how many games left in the season?
Yeah,
he's got 6 touchdowns. Yeah, 4 to go. This guy's having a great year, and he started a little slow. So he's come on of late. He didn't come out the gates steaming. He's come on late, and he's been a real problem for a lot of these teams. And
look at the adversity he faced this season. He was injured to start the season. He had Cooper Rush throwing him the ball, Michael Gallup on the sideline with an injury, and he still overcame all. He's a dangerous guy now.
Yeah, defense, by the way, is a little beat up for the Jags. Andre Cisco did practice in full today after missing the last couple of games. Darius Williams, an abdomen injury, did not practice. Andrew Wingard's shoulder limited. He was hurting on Monday after that game, but did play and came back in. So I got to believe he'll try to give it a go. Trayvon Walker, ankle, did not practice. He said it was a high ankle sprain today. I got to believe. Now, listen, I doubt he's playing on Sunday.
Yeah, if they're calling
if it's a high ankle sprain, guys don't usually play on high ankle sprains.
And it's a shame because he's coming off his best game as a pro.
And it does, and I want to get to something on that in just a moment. Chad Muma back on the practice field, and Doug Peterson basically said today if he's healthy and ready to go, he'll be back into the starting lineup instead of Devin Lloyd. Clay, you watch the tape a little bit. I wonder if one thing about the Jacksonville Jaguars that they have been reaching for things, right? They're trying to find something on defense, which you don't see teams do a lot. They kind of are who they are. But this late in the season, Mike Caldwell has been like, let's try Trayvon in the dirt. Let's try Chad Muma. Let's try Wingard. Let's try 14 different guys at corner. Now let's bump out Darius Williams. Like, he is really trying to find some answers. And so from a Dallas perspective, I wonder if they even know what to expect facing the Jaguars defense. Now, it's not unbelievable. I get it. But I'm not really sure where everybody's going to be lined up on Sunday for the Jags.
Yeah, and that's going to work for you. It's funny because that's not what you want, but it does work. If you don't know who to prepare for, you're not going to be able to prepare the way you want to. And I've liked what I've seen from Wingard. I've liked what I've seen from Chad Muma. I think if he's healthy, I'd like him to play. And obviously Cisco, if he's healthy, I'd like to play. But that adds another element. I think that this defense, has a lot of issues. And I love this big win the Jaguars had. But when you get 4 turnovers like that, you better win the game.
Yeah.
If you don't win the game with 4 turnovers, and there was still, if they could have made it a game at the end of the game. There was still a chance that the Titans could have made it a tight game even after all those turnovers. So I think that defense, as high as we are now, is like, hey, they had a pretty decent game, but you had 4 turnovers, okay? They still have a lot to work on and a lot to show. It was good to see Trayvon get home, Josh Allen get home, Arden Key get home for some sacks and see those guys. Hopefully those guys can get going. And like you said, Trayvon might not even play. But it is harder to prepare when you don't know what to expect, who's going to be on the field. And when somebody's on the field, when somebody's not, that changes the whole way a defensive coordinator calls a game.
I think you bring up an interesting point, and I think we can't gloss over that fact that, listen, the Jaguars got run all over in the first quarter. They were about to go down at least 17-7, maybe even 21-7 until they come up with a big turnover. Now, they made a play. That's what you do. If you can make a play, you make a play. So good for them. But can you count on that? And it doesn't, just because it looked good, it's kind of a quick, it takes us away from the conversation of last week where it was Mike Caldwell. Is he good enough to do this? The Jags personnel, are they good enough with all the money they spent? I don't think those conversations go away. But here is my curiosity. The old saying, Clay, turnovers come in bunches. Everybody wants to say it. Could the Jags get on a little run like they did in week 2 and 3 where they start turning people over for a couple to few weeks? I could actually see that happening.
I would love to see it happen, but I mean, it's like you said, turnovers are interesting because yes, some teams do survive off of turnovers, but every team in the NFL preaches the same thing. Like, we got to get turnovers, got to get turnovers. Turnovers are the biggest thing to add to a win or loss percentage. Turnovers. Who has the most turnovers? Who has the fewest turnovers? But that's not a way you can sustain a team. You got to have a disciplined, good offense, a disciplined defense, and be able to do everything right. Be able to stop the run, be able to stop the pass. You can't just rely on those turnovers because sometimes you can do a great job of trying to get the ball, a great job of trying to get the fumble, intercept the ball. But if the offense does their job, you're just not going to get them. You can do everything right and still not get them. So I've never been a guy that thought that, okay, we just want to turn the ball over. For me, that's like a fighter going into the fight saying, I'm just going to knock them out. You don't knock them out every time.
Yeah, that's fair. I get it. But if you have to at least do something well, and maybe the Jags found that and figured that out, and then you get lucky and you get some breaks and you create some breaks.
Yeah.
The other thing that I would say is they're playing after what they did to Tennessee on the front, and this is a totally different team. Tennessee, to me, is not that great, but at least they come in here thinking confidently, feeling confident, feeling a little bit hungry. And you know how that works as an athlete. You know, I mean, that's just, you just feed off that. So I guess I'm trying to find some things that what could happen with this defense because they're really up against it this week. And they have got to do some things to keep their offense in the game. And then at the end of the day, I just think I don't care how good Dallas's defense is. Trevor and company have to score, Clay. Like, they have got to get the job done. This is really on them to keep up, to dictate play potentially with long sustained drives, to get an early lead and get out front. Like, really the pressure here is on the offense to keep up with Dallas. But not only that, avoid handing them the football, which they're very good at. Did we lose him?
Sounds like
I
it.
think we did.
Yeah. He didn't like your point.
He must not have. He must have known we were going to break.
Oh, look at the timing.
That was a better statement than question anyway.
So you can go back and revise it. Cut that part out, Case.
Where is he? You know where? Like, I've got to ask him where he is because it actually sounds like he's in. If he's in Chicago now, he also has a place in New York. So let's just say he was in New York right now. I would picture that he's doing this show from like Rockefeller Center. I feel like I hear like Christmassy music in the background. I feel like I hear like people like, you know, smiling,
milling
and
about.
cheering
I didn't know
and
you could hear
milling
smiles.
about.
That's interesting.
Hey, he's back
Oh,
on.
that's funny. Yeah, that's
Where
an
are you?
interesting. Okay, let's give Aaron a guess here.
All right, I'm gonna go with right on the water in Chicago.
Okay, it's in New York. So
all right.
You guys.
So then you're at 30 Rock. 30 Rockefeller Center. Where are you hanging? Doing TV today? What are you doing?
Actually, I got my laptop out. I'm at my gym, my Lifetime Fitness in Brooklyn, New York, in a nice little secluded area here, talking to you gentlemen. Well, yeah, good call, Brent.
There you go. So, okay, there was a little background something. I like it.
BK all day. I should have known that.
So did you get a workout in already?
No, I came here. I got some work done, some of my business school stuff for my MBA, and I'm about to get a workout in as soon as we're off.
All right. I mean, what's this today? Leg day today?
It is. It's leg day. I mean, you can come join if you want, or I'll send you my workout. See if you and Aaron want to go get it done after this.
Oh, I've already worked out a bunch today. Don't worry about me.
When we come back, I want the workout and I want to see if any three of us could handle it in any capacity. That'll be when we come back. Let's take a break. Brent Friends on ESPN 690 with Clay Harbor. We are working out in spirit with Clay.
Yeah.
He's at the gym.
Oh, I love it.
We're stuffing our face with stuff in studio.
Definitely in spirit.
We'll be back on ESPN 690. Welcome back, Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Brent Martin, Casey Kurtz, Aaron Schachter, Clay Harbor from the gym in Brooklyn, New York.
I am. This is where I'm at, boys. You guys got to come get a workout in with me some point.
All right, what is it? What's the leg workout today? Let's explain it to us. We'll see if we got any chance at it.
All right. So as you guys know, I am also a certified personal trainer and certified strength conditioning coach. What I like to do is start my day off. First thing I get in the gym, is I'm going to walk uphill for 4 minutes backwards and 1 minute, 4 minutes forward, 1 minute backwards, 4 times, 20 minutes total at a 20 incline at 3.5 miles an hour. It's a really hard, tough cardio. It also builds strength. It helps your joints. It's great for your ankles. It's great for your knees. This helps a lot of things because you're doing cardio and you're strengthening your legs and toning your legs at the same time. From there, I'm going to go and do some core. I'm going to do some planks. Planks are great for your lower back, for your entire body, your posture. I'm going to hit a lot of planks. After I do that, I'm going to do some glute activation, core activation. I'm going to get ready for my lift. For my lift, I'm starting on the squats. We're going to do heavy squats today, boys. We're going to squat heavy, and after we do 5 sets of 5, we're going to go to some RDLs, Romanian deadlifts, another 5 sets of 5. From there, we're going to do some box jumps. I don't think you guys can even make it on the box, so you guys just do a little jump in place.
What?
How about that?
I could do a one-legged
Jump in
box
place.
jump. Put you in your place right
No
now.
way.
I'm going to come down there right
No
now.
way.
How big's the box?
Okay.
I mean, it's just a little bit off the floor.
I don't know, boys. And then we're going to do some power cleans. After that, we got some power cleans. Then we're going to do some Bulgarian split squats. From there, we're going to do some walking lunges, some leg curls, leg extensions, some calf raises, and we're going to finish off with another bout of cardio. And that all is done within 2.5 hours. And afterwards, we're going to stretch in the steam room or the sauna and then take a ice cold shower. And then that is a day of work for Clay Harbor.
Wow.
All these business nerds are going to be laughing at you spending so much time in the gym. You got to be in the library studying for that exam.
I know I listen to audiobooks while I'm doing all
okay.
that. So it's,
Look at you
I try to be
getting it all
productive.
done.
Wow, 2.5 hours, man. That's a lot. That's a big. How many times is leg day a week?
Twice a week.
All right.
2 leg days a week. Yeah.
All right. There we go. Yeah, right. We're not doing that. I actually was trying to think about how many times you've or we would fall going backwards on the treadmill on the 20%
You would be able to go
incline.
backwards on the treadmill?
Well, I think I could. I'm not
Yeah.
sure you could.
What?
It's great for building coordination. You guys got to try this. I'm going to send you the workout. If you guys just do that, 20 minutes. I know you guys, one of your New Year's resolutions is going to be to get in better shape. I'm not saying you're not in good shape, guys, okay? I'm saying to get in better shape. That's one of your resolutions. So I'm going to send you this protocol and that at least the cardio, and you guys do that, and you'll start to see results.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, what's your, give us a number between 1 and 7.
For what?
We're doing our 12 business days of Christmas giveaway right now. Casey's got to answer the phone now, so that's why we don't go all the way up to when you had like number 86 for the
5.
Jags. 5 it is. So 904-362-9901. You can win a prize pack right now with our 12 business days of Christmas. Give Casey a call. Caller number 5, 904-362-9901. Back with Clay Harbor talking some football after we get our workout in. I feel like I just got the workout in even though I didn't do anything.
You should have asked Clay for like a virtual workout training session as a prize. That's a serious business over
I
there.
feel like my glutes have been activated.
That was just me. Don't worry about it.
Tiger wasn't lying, man. Needed to have the glutes activated.
You got to activate the glutes, man. You guys are obviously just talking about sports. You're not playing them. Because every athlete knows you got to activate the core and the glutes to get the body going.
Yeah, Brent. All the athletes, we all know this.
Hey,
don't know this?
Give me the sense. I know you have hope and you're a positive guy and you're part of our Sunshine and Rainbows Club, Chicago branch. But you know here's the scenario. The most likely scenario. Titans lose 2 out of 3. They play the Chargers, the Texans, the Cowboys. The Jags win 2 out of 3. They play the Cowboys, the Jets, the Texans. Do you think that is as like a good probability to happen to set up the showdown for the playoffs here in Jacksonville in Week 18?
I think it has a chance. I think this game this week is tough for Jacksonville. I think the Cowboys, they got a good defense and they got a good offense. Obviously, we've talked about, the quarterback situation and obviously the running back situation there. But I think they could do it. I don't see the Texans losing to the Titans this week, but they could lose to the Cowboys, So the Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers is this week. Chargers is this week. So yeah.
So Chargers is the game.
Yeah.
If they beat the Chargers, there's no way the Texans are winning. So I'm going to say I think it's possible. Probability wise, I'd give it maybe 30%.
Yeah, I think really what it comes to, see, I actually think there's a high probability the Chargers and Cowboys beat the Titans. Like, I think the Titans are a mess right now.
You think that the Titans part of the equation is highly probable to be favorable for the Jaguars?
Yeah, I'm not even convinced that Houston doesn't go into Tennessee and beat them. Like, I mean, Houston's been very competitive.
And we don't really know if the Titans are in the tank or not at this point after the firing. Who knows what's going on with that team?
They just don't have a very good team right now.
And they've lost 3 in a row. They're banged up.
Yes.
So fine. But the Jaguar side of the equation is a little bit more tough.
Like, listen, you don't deserve to do it. Anything shouldn't happen if you don't beat Houston. Like, they have to go beat Houston.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think it just comes down to, can you beat the Jets on Thursday night or can you beat the Cowboys at home? Like, one out of the two, I believe, gets the job done. And obviously, I would say the Jets are more probable, even though that's on the road, but I don't love it because it's cold and it's a short week, Clay.
And they're fighting for their playoff lives.
Yeah, they are too.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. I think they can do it. Will they do it? I'm not sure, but I think there's a possibility there. I'm still holding out hope. And, you know, obviously we were saying if they could win this week and the Titans lose, we were saying this last week, I'm sorry that they could control their own destiny, but I think they still do. If they can pull that off, I agree with you guys. I think the Titans probably will lose to the Chargers and beat the Texans and then, you know, lose again to the Cowboys.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see where the Cowboys are. That's the second to last week of the year, and so what's their frame of mind? There's also another road here is that the Jags just win 3 in a row, you know, and are just hot right now, and then they only have to lose once, the Titans would, to set up this situation. In fact, they might not even have to lose in that scenario. Yeah, they do. They would have to lose once.
Yeah, they do.
So we'll see what happens. Hey, let's get you around the rest of the league. Is San Francisco good enough? Now, Brock Purdy is on the injury list, I think. He has like an oblique injury. Can they win with Brock Purdy at quarterback and like win big, I'm talking about?
I don't know if they can win the Super Bowl, but I think they could knock somebody off. I mean, we saw what this team was able to do. Jimmy Garoppolo is not a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's not a guy that's going to set the world on fire. Obviously, he's solid, but I think they can still win. The Niners are 9-4. Purdy got the job done. And after the Eagles, you look at the rest of the division, the Vikings just lost to the Detroit Lions. Okay, Buccaneers are looking terrible, 6-7. Tom Brady finally looks his age. You know, the Cowboys, we talked about them. They're a solid team, 10-3. The Redskins, not sold. The Giants, not sold. Seattle, Geno Smith, they just lost last week. So I think that this is an open division. The only team I would go in saying they are not going to win this game is the Philadelphia Eagles. You saw them beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady, Purdy versus Tom Brady. How do you pull that off? If you can beat Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, you can beat any of these other quarterbacks, minus the Philadelphia Eagles, just because their team, their offense, and their defense is so good.
And on top of that, as we mentioned earlier, with a 49ers win, they lock up the NFC West. They don't necessarily have to win big with Brock Purdy at that point. As long as they lock it up, they can just kind of coast until they get there.
And Jimmy G might be able to actually come back late. Like there's a door open for that to happen, which is also pretty interesting. Hey, who's more physical team in your opinion, the Eagles or the Niners?
I mean, the Niners defense tough, but you know, I'm a former Eagle. I'm gonna go with the Philly boys. I mean, that defensive line really came to life. Brandon Graham, the guy was in my draft class, and he had 3 sacks last week, so that was pretty incredible.
That offense is violent up front as well.
Are they the only team? Yeah, because like Lane Johnson doesn't allow anything. Are they the only teams that are like you are just talking physical play? Now, Eagles can also be explosive because of what they have on the outside and their running game and everything else, but like I'm trying to think of physical football teams, and yeah, I can make the case like the Ravens are a physical team, but I don't think they're in that category. I'm not sure anybody else is in the category of physicality like the Eagles and Niners. I think it's those two and everybody else.
Absolutely. With the offensive line, the Philadelphia Eagles, man, and Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, they're stacked at every position. Kelsey's playing like I need to find out what's in the water. Because I was playing with Kelsey and Brandon Graham, and those guys are having a career years. So that's pretty crazy out there.
Yeah, that is pretty wild. One last one for you around the NFL. Who do you like in the AFC from a playoff standpoint with, you know, everything coming down to the wire? I mean, you're talking about the wild card situation, and you've got right now the Miami Dolphins who go to Buffalo, but they're 8-5 now, and they're not playing as good the last couple weeks. The Patriots are in the 7 hole, but so are the Chargers and Jets at 7-6. If you pick 2 teams out of there, who are you taking? The Dolphins, Patriots, Chargers, Jets.
I'm gonna go for a different team, the Jaguars, baby. What are we talking about here? The 5-8 Jaguars. No, but I like the Patriots. I think Bill Belichick. I know the Dolphins are a game ahead of them, but I watched that game. Tua looked awful. He looked like he was throwing with his left hand. Honestly, it looked like he was supposed to be throwing with his right. I'm like, what is he doing here? He just couldn't get nothing behind the ball. It was just so hard. Watch Tyreek Hill's open, Jalen Waddle's open, Gesicki open. He just couldn't get the ball to him. And I think that the Patriots have obviously the better coach and an all-around team. So I would take the Patriots out of all of those teams.
Well, yeah, right now, by the way, like Miami goes to Buffalo this week. They're going to lose that game. They're not winning in the cold in Buffalo.
No, it seems like they really do struggle forever in the cold.
They have forever, and they're not playing well right now.
Yeah.
And so they are not going to win that game. So then they get 8-6, and we'll see what the Patriots do. And the Chargers hopefully win and keep serve. And the Jets, that'll be an interesting one.
Yeah, they got a big game
with the
this
Lions.
Weekend with the Lions, which is obviously a tough game. We just saw the Lions dismantle
But the
the
Lions
Jaguars.
are different on the road, so that's something to keep an eye on in this game. So
Zach Wilson, by the way, upgraded to backup quarterback this week.
yes, a lot of questions. He could very much play, too, the way Mike White gets hit and has been hurt.
Oh, yeah. Like, all you need is one hard shot of Mike White, and you got to wonder whether he's going to finish the game.
I've had this kind of thought that Zach Wilson gets in the lineup one way or another at the end of the year and actually plays well. Clay, do you think there's any chance that he actually, like, learned from the stuff and is kind of, like, reinvigorated and challenged and taps into, like, whatever competitive juices it is and stops, all the charades and maybe responds in a big-time way if he gets back in there?
I just don't think the guy can play, man. I don't think it's anything I just don't think he's very good. I mean, I've never been a Zach Wilson fan, even going back to him in college when he was taken so high. And, he has a 72 rating, guys. 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, just 180 yards a game. I mean, the guy just isn't very good. He only completes 55% of his passes. And you see Mike White come in, and he improved on that. And that's Mike White, a guy that hasn't got many opportunities and has shown that he's better. He's even playing worse than Joe Flacco was. I'd rather have Joe Flacco on the field than Zach Wilson. So I just don't think Zach Wilson's the guy, and I think they're in need of a quarterback. That's a need for them.
Clearly, you guys don't watch enough Jets to understand the franchise will allow Zach Wilson to play. He'll light it up. They'll let both of these guys walk in the offseason. They'll both go on to all-pro seasons. We'll get Jimmy G, and then he'll break his foot to start the year next year. That's how the Jets roll.
Well, they're not.
That's some bad juju right there.
Yeah, they're not letting Zach Wilson walk. All right, hey, I don't want to hold up any more leg day workouts, whatever. We're not getting the rows because we can't do the backward walk on the 20% incline on the treadmill.
You can't.
If I can't, you can't.
I guarantee
know Casey
I can get
can.
it done.
And so that means somebody's going to get the rows. Who's going to get the rows? Could it be the tight end of the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Of course. I mean, who else? I mean, this guy had a heck of a week. I think he showed why he was a first-round draft pick. This guy ran a 4.4 flat at the combine. Did you guys remember that back in the day?
Yeah, amazing.
He ran a 4.440, 4.3 something, 4.39, I think. The guy's incredible. And he showed why he is such a big-time player coming out. So the rose has to be given to Evan Engram, 11 catches, 162 yards, 2 touchdowns on 15 targets. Just an incredible career day. Evan Engram, will you accept this rose? He will. And there you have it.
All right. Go get a good workout in, man. We'll do it again next Wednesday. We'll be actually up in New York, so maybe we'll have to find you or something. Or actually, I'll be on my way to New York. These guys will be holding down the fort. I'll be traveling.
Oh, you guys can come get a workout.
Yeah, I'll be there actually for that 2.5-hour workout. I'll be in Brooklyn by whatever time on Wednesday. Maybe I'll see you there.
I'll send you guys the address. All right.
Have a good one, man.
Later.